Hi, welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. I know it's hot outside, and I have some hot guests here. We have Dr. Eugene Williams, Dr. Dula, and we have, Edwanda Larken. We're going to talk a little bit about education. Now, these people know something, a little bit about it. They've been on the show before. You're familiar with them. Welcome to the Ed Brown Show.
Thank you.
To be here.
I tell you, we got a rose between two thorns.
Isn't it beautiful?
I had to break that up, you know what I mean? But anyway, Dr. Williams, tell us a little bit about what you and Dr. Dula are doing. You guys were on the show about maybe 2 months ago now, and then you invited me to a program, and I asked for a business plan and for the youngsters to do this, and I haven't heard anything now. And I want to report. This is report time.
Well, we're doing what we can do for young boys and girls throughout the county, this Prince George's County, and throughout the world, through our efforts of sharing with them education, the importance of education. One of the things that I'm doing right now is sharing a book that I feel that every parent in the United States of America should have. It's called It's the Reading Thing.
Hey.
Help your child understand. And this is very, very important because, our youngsters are scoring very low on the verbal part of the SAT. They need to read more. They don't read like we used to read in school.
That's because of electronics.
Everything
right now, you ask them about electronics, they can tell you. About Google and and all those different things,
Yes, they can tell you about Kindle.
Yeah.
They can tell you about the Nook. I suggest that you find the classics on the Nook. Find the classics on Kindle and read them if you don't want to hold a book in your hand like we used to do. So we're doing those kinds of things. And another thing that I did, and thank you, Ed, for coming and helping me out, is that we had a book signing. We had a book signing at Walmart, Walmart in Clinton. And it was a beautiful experience where we shared the book that helps us developing vocabularies. We'll call Words Crossing Across, Word Search on LeBron James. And so we're just doing lots of things, helping. And we also try to help adults too. We try to help parents be better parents.
Right. That's one thing that, we have to emphasize, because really, having the book and then the parent is not really supporting it to the point that they demand the youngster put down that electronic gadget and have a time that he can actually do some reading.
I say we compromise. Don't put it down solely. Use it sometimes, but use the book sometimes. Because the parents have to encourage the youngsters to use the textbook.
That's what I mean.
Because you see what's happening now in our schools, unfortunately, is that youngsters don't want to even use a textbook.
No.
That's so basic, so very necessary for instruction. And technology is of course new to me, being an evolutionary elder, but I don't let that bother me. If I'm teaching a class, as I will be doing in the next couple of weeks with youngsters, and they have their little gadgets, their technology, their smartphones and what have you, I said we're going to use it in classroom. Bring it to class. Now I know that some school systems would not approve of that, but where I'm located, students are encouraged to bring those little gadgets.
Right.
So we mix technology with
that.
traditional.
That's a great idea.
Yes.
Yeah, great idea. Well, Edwanda, you've been going around and the world, and since you've been off since June.
Yes.
It's hard to catch up with her now. Tell us, what do you think about this?
Well, I would like to commend the elders because reading is fundamental, and our young people need to know how to read. They need to know how to be able to comprehend, and in order to do that, it takes practice. You have to sit down. When we were coming up, we had to sit at the dining room table at least, 30, 40 minutes and do your homework. You couldn't go outside to play. You had to sit and do your homework, and this was repetition, and repetition is good. So
Yeah.
this is what I think the young people have to do. Parents have to get involved. They have to make sure that their young person is on task.
Yes, yes, great. Dr. Dula, now, you know, at that meeting, you suggested a program, and I want to know how the program is going with that group, you know, that we met. Or you tell us about it.
Yes, the group we met with was Mentoring to Manhood.
Right.
And the Mentoring to Manhood mission is to work with the entire community and to, at the same time, mentor our kids and prepare them for the challenges they'll face in the world, both educationally and from a personal standpoint.
Yeah, and that you can't de-emphasize from a personal standpoint, because see, that's something that's in their society, and the peer pressure is the greatest pressure that they have.
Tremendously so. So what we've been doing is, in the good name of evolutionary elder, we have been working to connect the dots. Not only have we been working with Mentor to Manhood, but we've also been working with Men Aiming Higher, who is another mentoring organization that is doing great things with our children this summer. See, because during the summer, it's more of a physical time, more so than a planning time from a written standpoint, an academic standpoint. So they're doing things to engage their minds from a physical standpoint. Also, other than Men Aiming Higher, we're looking at connect the dots with education programs like Educare Resource Center, located in Fort Washington, Maryland, who has been working with Mentoring to Manhood. And there's a new group on the block that is a special interest group called the Bridge Business Alliance. And that is a group of African American business owners and males who have come together to address this issue we're having, from procurement issues to education issues. And so by connecting these dots, our goal is to make sure that we use all these organizations to come to the same table.
Yes.
So that we could help businesses to see where they're at, so they can get involved with the mentoring organizations, and hopefully, and the business community, and hopefully create opportunities for our children that they can see.
Right.
And understand that if you do the right things today, and you study hard, like Dr. Williams is always saying, and you read effectively, like was just mentioned, reading is fundamental according to Dr. W.B. Du Bois.
Yes.
Then if you do those things, then you increase your employability. And if our business community is on board, well, it takes a village. And so we will have more prosperous businesses, families, and upcoming generation in the 21st century.
Now, with this mentoring men, it seemed to me you left out a group. That was the women. Now, what are you doing to get the mothers involved? Because when you really look at this thing, mothers spend more time with a child than anybody.
You know, if you travel our county, oftentimes you will hear the phrase, "Where are our men?" And so we're taking steps to connect the dots to correct that, and to put the men back in the community from a leadership perspective. Now, do you have great organizations? You most certainly do. Educare Resource Center is a nonprofit headed by Ms. Kathy Hines, who is a lady, quite naturally.
Right.
Also, you have the women business owners of Prince George's County, who are very much involved with the business side as well as the education side. And then you have Sister for Sister Network Incorporated, headed by Ms. Peggy Morris.
Sister Network?
Network Incorporated.
Is that right?
Yes, headed by Ms. Peggy Morris.
Have her on the show.
I tell you what, it's a very, very community impacting group that is involved from a holistic perspective. So the ladies have historically led the way.
Yeah.
So now we men are going to jump in with both feet and follow their lead and create some opportunities for our young men by showing them that you have role models right here, like the Ed Browns and the Dr. Williams and some of the other men, the Rob Malones and the Darryl Barnes who were out there mentoring our youth. So once they see us working together, I think that they'll realize the community.
Now they emphasize they're including the business aspect, and I think that's so very, very important for the future, for the youngster. So I want to leave that up to you to make contact and bring her on the show. We want to talk to this particular women's group because they're talking about the education and the business aspects of it. Because what we have to do, we have to get the young people involved in the economy of this country, because that is freedom.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I just was mentioning that we've come a long way in understanding that we have a long way to go. Yeah. And what we're saying here is we see a lot of emphasis being placed on development of our economy.
Right.
We see a lot of emphasis being placed on how to grow and develop the small and minority business community. Many people don't realize that the small and minority business community makes up a large part of those that hire people in this county and beyond. Right. When you look at the state of Maryland, about 96 to 97% of the businesses are small and minority businesses.
Right.
And they hire about 36% of the people. I know that our county executive has created incentive funds to try to get businesses to grow and develop here in the county. Mm-hmm. And if we can get the businesses, the small and minority businesses, really to a place to where they are prospering, think of what they can do.
Yeah.
Then they can, if they are provided the procurement opportunities in both contracts and services, then they'll be able to hire our kids in the future. And they'll be able to raise their families here with dignity, because it's about building the future economically for them.
Yes, because see, what's happening, they talk about the council and the county exec, talk about around the metro station is putting the businesses in. Right. The minority business could get involved in Prince George County. What do you have around the metro station? You talk about Sea Pleasant, you're talking about the southeast, you're talking about you got liquor store, hair places, and that type of business around these metro stops. And most of the young people use the metro because they can't, they can't drive. They don't have cars and things of that nature. But maybe we can drop this bug into the council and the county exec about having minority businesses coming in around these metro stations. Give them an opportunity to open these businesses there. See, what do you think about that, Doctor?
What I'm thinking about is this. Education is my heart. That's my passion. And I'd like to reach out to the Ministerial Alliance, the ministers in this county, who head churches predominated by women.
That's it.
Mostly women. There are more women in our churches than men. And at some point in time, let's say at the beginning of the school year, we would talk about the significance of parents in raising their children. Now, many of our parents are doing a fantastic job, but too few of them are working with their youngsters. Youngsters come to school to learn. And having just left the classroom, I found that students had very serious problems with accepting teachers who wanted to teach. It did not matter how good, but they had their own agenda. And so my plea is to the ministers in this county and all over the nation. Come together. Get your parents together. Do parenting workshops. That's so very, very important. We must do it because our students, our young people, are in serious trouble when it comes to this whole business of wanting to learn. They're in serious trouble in terms of getting parents to support them. You see, because as parents, now many of my parents, the parents with whom I work, they are busy. They are busy trying to survive economically.
Yeah, economics.
They're trying to. But I remember when I grew up as a child, when I started out, the economic problem was there for my parents as well. You know, only one person in the family worked.
Right.
And he didn't work often. But my mother was there. And she made sure that we learned, that we went to school with manners and behavior. She didn't take any foolishness.
No, right.
And whenever my mother went to the school,
Yeah, that
she didn't go
backhand.
there to bless the teacher out.
Right.
She went there to say, this is what I'm sending you, and this is what he better not do, or what she better not do in that case. Yes. And so we have to get more involved. I mean, we're playing this thing cheaply here.
Actually, the rapport that the family and the teachers and the parents actually have, there is none. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that the student, he's sent like a robot to school, and there's, as far as getting to know, that the parents have to make an attempt to get to know the teachers.
Yes.
You know, take
Yes.
time. You don't wait till he gets thrown out of school, get detention, and that time. They show up then and they're angry with the system then.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
after they
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
But really, if they were working with the system, they wouldn't have that problem. See?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So anyway, now I had a show July 11th with a young lady, and Dr. Dula is familiar with her. She's dealing with Dr. Williams. You have that brochure there, dealing with adopted. And now that's a group. Let me see that for that's a group. It's foster and adopted youth.
Yes.
We have quite a few youngsters in that category, and I was really appalled at the report that I received from LaToya. Dr. Dula knows LaToya. He was, in fact, he was on that board of directors, which I volunteered for, and I wanted the evolutionary elders to get involved with this group. I told her that you and Dr. Williams and Dr. Lula will call her, and you're familiar with the program, Doctor.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can tell, now that's a group that has been neglected.
Yeah, how do they go about getting the foster and adopted children into the program?
Well, he was, Dr. Dula was on the board of directors there.
Yes, I worked with them closely when I was the Director for Health and Human Services for Prince George's County. As a matter of fact, I introduced programs that was geared to recognize those students that would be aging out of the program, because on many occasions it is that population that has nowhere to go if they don't go to college, so they're just out on the streets, and we tried to work that. But what happens is the Whalers activity is very much involved with working with the social services and other county agencies, both here and in Washington, D.C., to identify those students and then to work with the foster care parents and the children to address any issues they may have, and to bring greater attention to the need to incorporate programs in both the district and Prince George's County for our foster care children. Because like I said, they're growing up. And I think when I was Health and Human Services Director, off the top of my head, we probably had about 1,300 kids in the system.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know what it is now,
That's
but
quite
it's
a
probably
bit.
about
you know,
that
when
same
you
number.
think of adoption, you know, 1,300 is,
And,
you know,
that's
where
right.
a child really don't know, you know, where the future is. It may be with this family or with this group, and it may not, you know, because adjustments have to be made on both sides, with the child and with the family.
There's also that between this group, and there's quite a few groups out here working with the foster care children. There's a group called First Class. There's another one that's spearheaded by Janie Hayes that's really working with the aging out population. So there are different organizations in the county addressing this issue. The key is we need to start working in unity to identify how
Said
we
real
connect
loud.
those dots.
I like that word, unity. you
Down
know.
with fragmentation, up
Right.
with unity, okay?
Right.
And start connecting the dots so that we come to the table together and create more effective programs.
Exactly.
And through that effort, you will be able to see evolutionary elders put their fingers on certain requirements and certain needs that the foster care children have, so that they continue to grow and evolve as adults. Because many will tell you that our children in the foster care system are concerned, because if you come from a stable environment like my kids did and your kids did, when you go out into the world, you always have in your mind that I can go back home. But when you're a foster care child, and many of them are producing great grades in high school, but when they leave, if they don't go to college, and if they don't have a place to stay, then they're out there on their own, and they can't have that same mindset. So we need a paradigm shift when it comes to looking at our foster care, the development of our foster care children.
Imagine any of us today would not have a place to stay. What does that do to your mind? Here, we got 100 degrees plus, or we got a rainstorm, and you're not thinking about, you're thinking about, what am I going to eat today?
Survival.
Where am I going to stay today? To me, that's a tremendous pressure for a youngster to have. Whether I'm going to be accepted by the new family, supposing you go to 2 or 3 families, imagine the experience that you would have, how you've been treated, and what you had to look forward to. That's the key. Say, what is there? That's why I think the emphasis that they're putting on this type of group, and you said the key word is unity. What we have to do, all these different groups that are working, the county exec and the governor and the rest of them, what they need to do, like you're saying, is they need to get together and work this system so the kids, I would hate to be in a situation where I didn't know where I was going to eat or sleep tonight. Or whether it was going to be, or where I was going to sleep, whether I was going to be welcome, you know, or was I a baggage, or either they use it. It's tough to talk about it, but a meal ticket for somebody else. See, because what happens is that there's money involved in this, and some people actually do this. I'm sure you're familiar with it. They adopt kids for the money.
Oh, yeah.
Not to fill a void in their life. See?
Well, you know, Ed, too, since education is so important to me, I'm reaching out today. I reach out also to teachers, particularly the young teachers. Now, I just finished a 5-year stint in the Prince George's County Public School System as a teacher, as an outstanding teacher. Most of my students would say that. But there are a lot of teachers who are teaching our youngsters now who come from, many of them come from foreign countries, and they are great. Many of them are right out of college, and they're anxious about teaching. But I'll tell you that too many of our teachers don't really know how to effectively teach the youngsters who are coming to us now. And so I reach out to them, and I think we as evolutionary elders can help them. In our effort, we have people who are well experienced in education, in math, in reading, in English. And we want to reach out to them because, seriously, they need us. They really, really need us to work effectively with the youngsters in our schools today. Our kids are nice kids, and I love them all, you know. And but there's a lot of work that we must do with them. We must do work with the youngsters. We must do work with the parents. We must work with the ministers to help us do our work. And the evolutionary elders, that group extends itself to the public for that kind of support.
Usually, Edwanda, as far as female youngsters are concerned, there seem to be a growing group now that's involved with this term of bullying. Could you expound on that?
Oh, yeah. Bullying it's happening everywhere. And if you notice with the school systems, there are programs in place. Teachers have to teach lessons on bullying, so students know that they have somebody that they can come to. They can come to their teachers if they're bullied. They can go to their guidance counselors, and of course their parents. So I think the public school system is really trying to get a hold on that, and I don't know if it's coming from students who are negative and they don't really feel good about themselves. They, poor self-esteem. I don't know exactly where it's coming from,
but it seems
we are trying to get a hold on it.
Female involved in that now than it
I
used to
don't-
be.
I don't
Usually the
know.
bullying, the male was dominant in that, But
I think it's happening with both sexes. But I guess girls just seem to be harsh. I guess harsher
You
as
think so?
opposed to because women can, I don't know, hold on to a lot of things. They can make things bigger than what it seems to be, and I guess that's I don't know. I don't know why that is.
Okay. This has been terrific. Dr. Dula, he has information he's gonna bring about it, adopted children, and with the new book of Dr. Williams. Every time you look, he got
Great.
something there for you to read. I mean, just fantastic. I'm glad to have all three of you here, and we're going to continue this session on education all through the winter to the end. We're going to have at least one segment. We're going to deal with this education problem. That's why I was saying, Dr. Dula, make sure that you get contacted. This has been Ed Brown, and I'll see you next time. Stay cool.